Hey guys, Morgan from Seven Dust here, and you're watching CMS TV.
Anyway, on to other things. So,
right.
what do you have that you can share with us,
Let's
sir?
see. I have how about I saw this story and I don't know if this is real or not.
Okay.
I'm assuming it is, but I'm not positive that it is. It's on a site called Metal Wani, which I see a lot of their shit posted. And generally, I think it's legitimate. And it's I'll put it on the screen. We're going to go into a much traveled topic here on the show.
Okay.
The topic being Mick Mars. And of course, I can't put it on this screen. Hold on. Fuck.
The retirement, the forced retirement of Mick Mars.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on. I mean, yes, that is the subject area. Oh, this fucking whatever this site is, it is full of fucking pop. I'm not putting it on the screen. Fuck that.
You don't have ad blocker?
I don't know if I do or not with Opera. But anyway, I'll deal with that later. I'll just read it. It's okay because I did copy it. So Mick Mars apparently or honestly is not in Motley Crue anymore.
Right.
Now, Metal Wani has an article out there that says Mick Mars was fired, not stepped away, because he didn't want to fire Vince Neil. He wanted to keep Vince, and the other guys wanted to fire Vince, and he put his foot down, so they fired Mick instead.
Like he wanted to get rid of Vince?
No, he wanted to keep Vince.
No. What I mean is Motley, that is Tommy Lee and
Nikki.
Nikki wanted to get rid of Vince currently?
Yes, currently.
Like recently?
Before this next wave of touring.
And well, see, that's kind of a weird thing because it's just like if they got rid of Vince prior to this touring, they're going to be right back in the Karabi thing again, where people aren't interested anymore.
Exactly.
I mean, as bad as Vince is and as big of a joke as he is and everything, he's still Vince Neil, I mean, they'll be right back in the Karabi thing where they're selling a little theater.
Yeah. Well, maybe they think they're bigger now. I don't know.
Nope. People want to see.
I agree with you. I agree fully with you. I mean, even a Vince Neil clone from a Vince Neil band, I don't think would matter.
Nope.
You need the fat guy that can't sing out in front. It's just that simple.
Yeah. He's Vince Neil.
Yeah. And again, I saw this story and I just was like, it reads like it's real. Now, again, I'm stating this up front. I do not know for positive that it is real.
Okay.
I just know that it's from Metal Wani and they mention another site that I do know is legitimate, the Metal Den, not a big site. I mean, it's not like this was on. See, and this is where I don't know. It's on this site that I've seen quoted in news, the Metal Wani site. I've also seen the Metal Den quoted in news, but it's certainly not. You would think a band of that size at this time, this would be on Billboard. It would be on TMZ. You would think the major players would pick up this as a major story.
Well, maybe they don't have anyone to corroborate that.
But TMZ doesn't give a shit. TMZ will run anything. TMZ will run, hey, somebody died. Oh, no, they didn't. Okay. TMZ. So that's where I'm a little weird on this one, but I'll read it and we'll comment on it along the way as if maybe it's real. Or if you hear something that's blatant, then just say, no, this isn't real. This is fucking bullshit.
Okay.
All right, here it is. The rumors of Mick Mars stepping down from Motley Crue proved true, as Mars left the band and his replacement, John 5, was announced for touring commitments in 2023. Industry sources have now shared more info on the same situation, saying Mick Mars left the band due to Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee telling Mars they want to replace Vince Neil. Here's what the Metal Den report says. Mick Mars, legendary guitar player of Motley Crue, took a stand against Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee when he learned that they were seriously considering replacing vocalist Vince Neil after the stadium tour ended. Mars told Sixx and Lee he would not tolerate the power move to oust Neil in such a way that would make the whole original lineup look bad. Mars felt that the original lineup owed it to the fans to play the overseas tour dates together in 2023. Instead, Sixx opted to give John 5 a call to step up a double move that would shake up the lineup for good. The source also says Nikki tried to confront Mick Mars, saying when he was confronted by Sixx and Lee about the vocalist change, Mick started to cry and, according to an insider, told the two biggest knuckleheads in rock and roll, "You can't have the Crue without Vince fronting it, man."
True.
He busted his tail to be out there, and if your plan is to replace him, then it's time for me to walk away. Editor's note, there is no detailed information shared by the band yet. We are checking with multiple sources to see if this is a legit update on Mick Mars. Till then, take it with a pinch of salt. So even they're not positive.
No, again, they don't have concrete proof.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that Mick, I seriously doubt that Mick is quote unquote on record.
Yeah, probably not.
So it's you know, it's rumors. It's Metal Sludge. It's Stevie Rochelle getting some inside info and, you know, saying, well, rumor has it.
Right.
You know, and that's, it's like, well, believe it or don't believe it. It's
right.
Like, could be, maybe not.
I wish this was Metal Sludge, because then I would believe it, because I know how meticulous Stevie is. You know, I mean, Stevie shares a lot with me that doesn't end up on Metal Sludge, and I certainly know how meticulous Stevie is before he writes anything.
Well, nobody wants to get in a litigious situation.
Right.
You know, and you know, post something out there or publish something and it's total bullshit, but you're publishing it as if it's, you know, gospel.
Yeah. So this goes on, and it talks about Carmine, what is he, Appice or Appice?
No, he's Appice.
Carmine Appice, saying that he talked to Mick Mars and he may play some shows with Mick Mars because Mick is planning to play some shows. So he's not staying. I'll read it. In a new interview with Michael's Record Collection, legendary drummer Carmine Appice touched on Mick Mars's retirement topic. He said, "We in Vanilla Fudge don't do big tours anymore because nobody wants to do a big tour anymore. And probably because there's no audience for Vanilla Fudge in 2023.
No,
but
can you name a Vanilla Fudge song?
No.
I mean, no. I know the name, but I don't, you know, and we've talked to Carmine on a few occasions.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
To be honest with you, I mean, I personally don't know. I can't just say, hey, isn't that a Vanilla Fudge song?
I'm sure Jim Jackal, that's the last band that was good before it all went to shit. Vanilla Fudge.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know a Vanilla. I'm sure if you look it up, we'll be like, oh, yeah, we know that song. But, you know, all right, I'll keep reading. Nobody wants to sit in the bus. We want to go out, do 3 dates in close ratio, split a van, and we fly to a gig, 150 miles, 200 miles. We're in there for 3 or 4 hours and we do the gig. And we go to the hotel and do it the next day. And then the third day, fourth day. And on the fourth day, we go home. Then 2 weekends later, we do the same thing. Carmine continued, I'm friends with Iron Maiden and Nico McBrain. He left his house in Florida in April. He's coming home next week. He's been on tour the whole time, rehearsing and on tour. We're too old for that. I talked to guitarist Mick Mars, who's been touring with Motley Crue. He just gave up his seat in touring with Motley Crue. And John 5 is going to tour with them. He said, man, we did the final tour 7 years ago. Now we're out again doing a major tour with Def Leppard. And he said, I don't want to do it no more. I'm sick of being in a bus. He said he's going to do a solo album and go out and do some gigs. I said, look, if you need anyone to play drums, I'll play with you. He goes, that would be great. So maybe I'll do some gigs with him, but it's not going to be big tours. It'll be a weekend, maybe somewhere, and then go home. 2 weekends later, maybe a weekend and go home. So he's talking to Mick about playing shows.
Okay.
So Mick is, and this is on the back. I don't have the story here, but John Corabi has been out there saying that Mick was forced out as well.
Okay.
He's out there saying until Mick says otherwise, he doesn't believe for 1 second that Mick stepped down. He said he knows Mick. He would have heard it, and he didn't. So with all of this said, with Mick talking about doing other shows, and, you know, I mean, if you retire because your health is so fucking bad,
You wouldn't be out there playing shows.
you wouldn't be planning to do shows even on a lesser scale. You'd be like, I'm going to stay in bed.
Yeah.
You know, so with that, and then this story sounds credible.
Yeah, but just see, here's the thing. If they were so hell-bent on getting rid of Vince, and the only guy who quote unquote was standing in their way got eliminated, are they still thinking about getting rid of Vince? Because they didn't reach their goal of getting rid of Vince. He's still there, right?
He's still there for now.
So if you got, you know, obviously Mick not being in the band now, and then you get rid of Vince, I mean, now you got the Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx band.
Okay. Now here's my thought on that.
All right.
And I do have a thought. I knew you were going to go there with this. They released the tickets for the European tour.
Yes.
If they announce this Vince Neil move, that's going to kill the European tour.
Yeah. Aren't people going to demand their money back if they were to do something like that?
They can't demand their money back. The same as any other tour. As long as the entity, the brand shows up.
Yeah. Boy.
As long as and Motley Crue are scumbags enough to do something like this.
Yeah, that's like, boy, well, I was sold a bill of goods.
But you could totally see Motley Crue doing that, right?
Yeah, I can, but that'll ruin them forever then.
They're done anyway. They sold their catalog. They're doing the expensive tour now. This is last run anyway.
Yeah. But so if it's your last run, why don't you deal with Vince for the last run and be done with it?
Because it's embarrassing to get out there every single night and have this fool out there just fucking half-assing it.
Well, I'm sorry, boys. This is your legacy. This is 40 plus years of Vince Neil fronting the band, aside from that small window there that John Corabi was in.
Yeah, I mean,
you're set in stone now. I mean, you can't start anew. It's over. It's over, Johnny.
I agree, but in today's world, I can see it. I can see these guys doing a big old stupid press conference, and I can see Nikki up on the stage doing the, you know, in the end, what we really care about the most is the fans. And since we care so much about the fans, we just didn't feel that we could rip them off with a subpar performance. That's why we got one of the greatest guitarists in the world in John 5. And now we've also got this great new singer who's been in Looks to Kill for the last 15 years, just killing it in South Albany.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see Nikki Sixx doing that.
Yeah, I can, but boy, that just would be to me. And again, we all know how bad Vince is. We all know that, but people are still willing to put up with because it's Motley Crue,
right?
it's Motley Crue with Vince Neil. I mean, that's just how it is. It's you and I would not go to the garbage show.
No.
But the casual fans, and we know who they are,
Mhm.
they're the woo Crue.
Yeah.
It's those guys that show up and they swill their beer and they, and they're man, rock out, man. They're that guy.
Yeah, and I know, I know the comparison is going to be to the Karabi era, but I think it's a different time now. I don't think people care like they did then. I honestly, think about it, dude. Guys like Tim James are going to this show.
Really?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Regardless,
Tim James would go to this show.
Regardless
of who, as long as Nikki's in the band, he's going.
Wow. Okay.
He's gonna, I mean, think about it, dude. Rat went out with the drummer.
Yeah, true.
The drummer and a bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
One guy that wrote nothing and 4 other guys that had nothing to do with Rat, and they didn't have any problem selling tickets.
Yeah, and they got platinum records too.
Yeah, they got platinum. But I mean, seriously, they didn't have any problem. I mean, they were selling 2,000 or 3,000 tickets a night. I think Motley Crue would still probably, in this state of the game, especially with the big stage show, if they did the big giant stage show with all the blow up balloons and the fire and the shit, and it sounded good, and they did it the way that you do it, which is you shoot a video with the new guy doing the classic songs. Maybe you do a whole live stream that's edited to death so that it just sounds mint, and you put it out there and you say, this is what we're giving you, fans, because we want to give you the best.
Right. Well, if Vince continues with Motley Crue and does this European thing with them, how do you show up to a gig knowing your 2 quote unquote bandmates have it out for you?
Gee, I don't know. Probably the same way that fucking Neil Sean shows up knowing that he's being sued by Jonathan Cain. You just do it.
It's like these 2 fuckers that I've played this band with for over 40 years. It's a mutiny. They want to get rid of me.
Do you think though? And I don't know the answer to this. And the weird thing is, Vince to me has always been pretty decent. Of the Motley Crue guys, he's, him and Mick are the 2 that have never really crossed me too bad.
Yeah, right.
The other 2 are dicks. But Vince to me has always been decent. That being said, he's a disaster.
Oh, he is.
So do you think that this has him taking any accountability at all? And saying, yeah, this is fucked up that these guys are willing to do this to me, but they're only willing to do this to me because I'm a joke.
Yeah, because so either A, he
straightens up.
He straightens up, or B, he makes them fire him, and then I don't know if he has any repercussions at all.
Well, he probably still owns a stake in the band.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. And again, I wonder what Mick's repercussions are. Does he have any repercussions? What does he? Does he have any way of recouping, or does he? Regardless if he's in the band or not, and they go out and play, he still receives his.
Yeah, he gets his money.
His piece. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that he does. You would definitely think that both of them would. I mean, it's an ugly situation all the way around. It's terrible. And I just am like, how did this band that was once the biggest, they were the biggest band in the world.
Yeah, they were for a couple, 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, they were huge. And you can't stress that. They were huge twice. Let's be honest. They were huge. And then when they got sober, they kind of went down for a little bit, but then they came back with Dr. Feelgood and got huge again.
Yeah, they did.
And then they went away for a while, and then they got huge again with the dumb movie. They've fallen and gotten up 3 different times.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's why Nikki and Tommy think they could survive this.
Maybe.
Because they just think that they're truly infallible.
Right.
Infallible. Yeah. That they just cannot end up falling forever. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it. But I can certainly see it. I mean, listening to the story and hearing all the pieces, do you think that it's made up, or do you think there's at least some shred of truth to what's being said there?
Well, it's out there, so somebody must know something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, even if it's rumor has it, but
Right.
somebody knows something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even if it's untrue, do you think Vince hears this and has now just got a real case of the ass against these guys? Even if they're denying it, which they are. Vince heard this and called him up, and they were like, dude, that's fucking bullshit. That's the fucking press. That's nonsense. That didn't happen. That's bullshit. We would tell you, like they did the last time when they didn't tell him.
That's funny.
Yeah. What a mess, man. Just, yeah. But I have a lot of wonder in this thing, dude. Do you think, I know him being fat and out of shape and doing the shows poorly is a big problem, and certainly being outplayed by like Poison has to burn Nikki's ass.
Yeah, I'm sure, because there was obviously that rivalry that they had. I mean, you listen back to that little interview that they did, and the guy who was bigger in the 80s, you were Poison, and Nikki just about lost his shit. Who?
Yeah.
What an asshole. And then here they end up playing with him, and regardless of your thoughts on Bret Michaels or not, they clearly outplayed him on that stadium tour
every night. Every single, I mean, universally, every review I saw of the stadium tour was that Poison was the best band. Def Leppard was most of the time really good. Joan Jett was Joan Jett, and Motley Crue stunk.
Right.
That's what I heard from almost everybody that went to that show. And I just wonder if now you add that, I still contest, and I've never seen it written anywhere, so this is just me prophesizing with nothing to back it. But I still think that him out there playing solo shows of all Motley songs burns these guys' ass, because it still devalues any tour that they do. That he goes out there with another band and plays the same songs.
Yeah, the Slaughter guys.
Yeah, that has to bug these guys to no end.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't Eric and Steven going out with them next month?
I don't know.
I think they are. I think they're playing a series of dates with Vince.
Well, the whole thing is I don't get why Vince goes out and does solo shows.
Because he needs money.
What, after all these millions he made, he still has to play solo shows?
Dude, he's killed people. He's fucking divorced people.
How much do you think he raked in from the stadium tour?
20 million?
Yeah, it's like, so you have to go out and play for $30,000 or $40,000.
I guarantee you, he's living in a mansion somewhere that costs $50,000 a month.
Ugh.
He probably has 10 fucking cars. He probably, I mean, think about how these guys live too, dude. How many failed businesses has Vince been in? He's owned, indoor football teams and coffee houses and all kinds of shit that's closed. All of that stuff probably sucked millions out of him.
Ugh.
Plus divorces and everything else. Plus just being a fucking wild child.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I think, I don't know this to be fact, but I think like Vince's asking price is like somewhere around $50,000.
Yeah.
So he's got to go out and play shows for $50,000. So
well, I mean, if your fucking house note is $75,000, you got to play a gig. You got to play 2 gigs just to pay your mortgage.
It's just ridiculous, man. Just to think of all the records that they've sold and the stadium tours that they've done, and decades worth of revenue from merchandise and shows and records and this and appearances, and he's still out there playing solo shows for $50,000.
And I mean, I have no reason to think that he's not wealthy. I mean, honestly, I don't. I've never really seen that he's bankrupt or anything, but At the same time, you have to wonder why you do the show of all shows all summer, packing them into stadiums, and then 3 months later you're back on the road with the singer from Rat playing clubs. How does that make sense other than you need cash? I mean, and again, I don't know that he needs cash, but
again, it's just you just got to wonder. It's like, why are you doing solo shows? You just came off a big stadium run.
Yeah, and it would make sense to me if he was playing just his solo material. You know, like Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar goes out there. He's made a shit ton of money. Sammy Hagar does not need to play shows, but he goes out and plays shows. But what does he do? He plays shows that are not Van Halen.
Yeah, but he's not part of a band anymore, though. He's always. No. The thing is, the difference between Vince and Sammy is that Vince made his bones being the lead singer of Motley Crue. Sammy had a successful solo career
Montrose
prior to Van Halen, and then after Van Halen, he continued a successful solo career.
Oh no, I agree. My thing is not so much that Vince couldn't do it because he's in Motley Crue. My thing is he's doing Motley Crue when he's not in Motley Crue.
I get it, which is bizarre.
You know, I mean, he has 2 or 3 solo records, at least two, Exposed and Carved in Stone.
Yeah, well,
and then there was that one in the beach, like in the lounge, but that was a covers album, wasn't it? I don't even remember.
Yeah. The Tequila Lounge.
Yeah, whatever that was. You know, he has enough music to, you know, he could play those songs and close the night with Sister of Pain and everybody be like, woo!
Yeah, but the first thing out of everybody's mouth to go see Vince is they want to hear Crue, man.
Oh, you could play some. I mean, Sammy Hagar, and again, I go back to the Hagar reference. Sammy Hagar pretty much plays Finish What You Started every time, and sometimes he plays Dreams, and sometimes he plays, you know, Why Can't This Be Love? So he mixes in a Van Halen tune here and there, and that would be fine with Vince. My thing is, I just think Vince knows he won't make as much money unless he plays all Crue, and he needs the money.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's, and again, I have nothing to back that up other than it just looking at the situation and going, you know, and I don't even think that he loves playing, because if he loved playing so much, he'd get in shape and be fucking great when he plays with Motley Crue.
You would think so, but boy, that's just an anomaly. That guy is.
It is. It makes no sense. I wish we did know the back end of this story, because I'll bet you if you know the back end of the story, it probably makes perfect sense. You know, he probably has some divorce somewhere where he has to pay $2 million a month to some bitch to go away or something. You know, honestly, I mean, there's got to be. Don't you think there has to be something like that in this?
There's got to be. I mean, how can this guy bleed through so much money? I mean, that you know, it's obscene amounts of money.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. You have to think that there's some reason that this guy finishes the biggest tour of the summer and then is back to playing the fucking Mohegan Sun for, you know, what's that, 2,000 people or whatever.
Yeah, 2,000 people, if that much.
Yeah, for $50K and fucking all the buffet he can eat at the casino. You know, it just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So it would not shock me at all if Nikki and Tommy were trying to throw him out of the band.
Yeah.
And this whole Mick thing wouldn't shock me at all if Mick did take a stand and they had another meeting where like, well, you know what? He's fucking damn near dead anyway.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Let's put him out to pasture.
Yeah, John 5 is a blazer on guitar, man.
Yeah. And again, rumor here, I don't have definitive proof, but the rumor I heard was that John 5 was playing most of those shows in the stadium tour anyway.
Yeah, that's what we were told anyway.
Yeah, that's what we've heard.
Yeah, but he was the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. So if he's already playing the shows, what difference does it make if he's out there or not?
Right.
You trade a corpse for a guy dressed like a corpse.
What a mess.
It is. Poor Tim. They're finally going to come into Australia and it's going to be fucking some guy from a band called Girls, 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 and Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee and
John Five.
John Five.
This was the Motley I remember.
Yeah. It's like, geez, oh man, what a disaster. Well, hey, more power to them. If they can still find ways, if they can still find suckers to go see them, either in the current shape that they're in or with a replacement singer, good on them, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted you to see that story and see what you thought of that nonsense.
Yeah, that is it is nonsense. I mean,
it's crazy.
The thing is, again, if this is true,
mm-hmm.
and Vince somehow circumvents these guys from giving him the boot,
right?
I mean, if the wheels are actually in motion and they gave Mick the boot because of him, refusing to have a united front to get rid of Vince, and they
right.
out of spite or whatever, they decided, well, we'll give you the boot then, and how do you how would you go out on the road with Vince after the cat is out of the bag, per se?
Yeah, because you can't. You have to assume that Mick would call Vince.
Well, if we're reading it and that rumor is out there, you know, it's like how would Vince not know this? You know what I mean? It's just like if there was actually this kind of animosity going on, and these guys wanted to make a move like that and get rid of him, and somehow he circumvents them from not getting rid of him.
Right.
How do you walk out on stage every night knowing these two fuckers are stabbing you in the back?
Well, I'm going to tell you how you do it, dude. If you need money, there's a lot more money to make walking out on a stage with two dicks that you hate with a name Motley Crue behind you,
right?
Than going to the Mohegan Sun for 2,000 people.
I agree.
So you know what you do? You come in on the stage left while they come in on stage right.
And they've been doing that ever since they got back together.
Yeah, and I mean
Vince, the story was that when he had that Jack Carson as his personal manager, road manager guy,
right? Mm-hmm.
Vince traveled separately. He had his own road manager. He had his own management. He had his own this, and the Motley guys came in on the right and Vince came in on the left, and they did their thing together, and then they parted ways, and didn't have any interaction outside of that.
Yeah, and it might still be that way. I mean, I don't know. And again, we're probably micromanaging this all at this point because it's such a fucking crazy story.
That's a crazy story.
But if you remember, if you watched any of the videos of the stadium tour, like they did like a really long music buildup before Vince came out.
Yeah.
Like they'd start playing and they would play for like a minute or two before Vince would walk out on stage with his kabuki suit on or whatever the fuck that dress was he was wearing.
Yeah, that long coat cape thing.
Yeah, that awful cape thing that he was wearing. But he, probably he didn't walk up to the stage with them. They probably knocked on his door a minute after they got everybody else out.
Yeah. All right, Vince, everybody's on stage. It's safe to go up now.
Yeah, you don't have to interact with them now. They're on stage.
Yeah. Is there any good video out there of Motley performing on the stadium tour at all? Because I honestly haven't watched any aside from like the people from like the rafters shooting down toward the stage. But is there any like close-up stuff that you can maybe find anywhere?
Look real quick.
Because I was just kind of curious because I haven't seen any.
I don't think that there's any real professional. Well, here, this is on Motley Crue's. Well, there's the tour recap. I don't know if this is not full songs. Do you want just like clips?
I just want to see what his condition was, and how he moved around, or
let's see
how well he performed, because I mean all I saw was just the cell phone video of people,
right,
different angles and stuff, but I didn't see any like really good quality stuff.
Well, let me see here. See if any of this is good. Oh, let's see. All right, this looks all right. This doesn't look bad. Present, share screen. This is what I get because I'm using 2 different browsers at the same fucking time. God damn it. All right, let's see. Paste and go. All right. Now let's. Oh, this video, I mean, this is definitely a cell phone video, but it's a little better, I guess.
Yeah, I was just curious. I just wanted to see what the performance is like, even if it's like a minute. I don't care. I just was curious.
All right, well, here we go. Load this up. Here we go.
That's Sam Kinison?
What?
Is that Sam Kinison?
Kinnison joining the show.
Is he wearing a hat or something?
I don't know. I'll start back to when he comes on stage.
All right.
All right, let's go. Yeah! See, now they're all out there. No Vince. Here he comes.
Wow, he actually sang all the words in a sentence.
Yeah, he got most of it in there.
All right.
A little off key or a little off time, but it's all right.
All right. Do a little more.
All right. He's already started to let the crowd sing, though. Where is he? This guy sucks with his camera. Now, this is why he's doing it, though, because on this stage, he's probably making $300,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
On the Mohegan Sun stage, he's making 50 that he's got to split with the Slaughter guys.
Right.
You want me to skip forward? That song won. You want me to skip forward like halfway through the set to see?
Let's see where he's winded at this point now.
Let's try Dr. Feelgood. That's an hour in.
All right.
By the way, that's not even Tommy Lee. That's Tommy Clufetto.
So this must have been early in the tour then, huh?
This is when they were fighting. When Vince wasn't going to play the shows or when Tommy said he wasn't going to play the shows unless Vince fucking didn't play them or something. Because remember, that was another rumor we heard, was that the reason that there was the quote unquote rib thing was that Vince popped him.
Right.
Because he was dogging him out for being fat. What a disaster, this tour. Jesus Christ. And they made a shit ton of money, but what an awful, awful thing. All right, here's some more. Put your phones down. Oh. Oh. Is it just me, or do they look like they're having no fun at all?
I mean, there's no energy there at all. He's just standing there with the mic and
yeah, but even like him and Nikki, they just walk by each other, no acknowledgement of each other, no
camaraderie.
no nothing. Just
all
right, I'm doing my job. You do yours, fatso.
Well, now that you got hindsight here and you know, the rumor of what's going on, it kind of makes sense that, you know, they're just out there performing, you know, they don't have any cohesiveness, no camaraderie, no, you know, whatever. It's just, they're just all paid monkeys.
Yeah. And I mean, what does Motley Crue need to be now? They just need the ability to tour. That's it. They don't need to be able to make new music.
Of course not.
Who the fuck is giving a shit about a Motley Crue song in the last 20 years?
Nobody.
No one has cared. What was the last hit that they had? Even minor hit. Was it Hell on High Heels?
No, it was Saints of Los Angeles.
We Are This. What was that? What year was that? 2008?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I think that was the last time that they had something that sort of was a hit a little bit.
Yeah, but not a big hit. Certainly
not at all.
When you name your top 20 Motley Crue songs, it's very doubtful that one sneaks in there. You know, I'm just trying to think. I mean, was the last big hit that they had Afraid?
I think Saints, well, what do you consider a big hit?
Like on the charts, like an actual charting on the radio song. I think the last radio song was Afraid.
That was it?
I think. I've hated Motley Crue pretty much since Generation Swine came out. Since they fucked over John Corabi, I just wanted nothing to do with it.
You're right. Saints of Los Angeles came out in June 24th of 2008.
Okay. And was Saints even a hit? Does it say that it was like a number 10 or something?
They had an official music video.
That don't mean anything. You're All I Need had an official music video, and that song didn't do anything either.
Well, but I mean, as far as like having some kind of rotation out there.
Yeah, but it's 2008.
True.
Where did that video play? Not MTV.
No, you know, true, but that's the only one. If you were to say what was their last quote unquote their last hit, that's what come to mind for me. That's what comes to mind, Natalie.
All right, Natalie, thanks. What a mess this band is. How do they go from a band that I used to love? I used to love this band. Now I just can't even stand them. Dude, are you the same way with them? Do you just see them and be like, ugh. Can you listen to the old records even? I can't.
Yeah. I know. It just, if I happen to hear one of their songs pop on some kind of a streaming service or, in a grocery store or something,
Yeah, you won't.
You recognize it and you whatever. But do I go out of my way to go listen to Motley? No.
Yeah, when you're on this in the car looking for something fun to listen to on Spotify, rarely does it come to Motley Crue. In fact, most of the time when Motley Crue comes up, even in a mix, I skip it. I've gotten to where I just can't stand these guys because the drama has way overtaken the musical quality.
It has. It's ruined everything.
Mm-hmm. Other than these casual people that are just casual fans,
right?
And not for nothing, but remember at the beginning of this video when the sign was going up and there's dude going, "Woo, Motley fucking Crue, man!"
Right?
What 50 fucking whatever year old person is doing that?
They're out there.
Seriously. How can you be in your mid 50s and being like, "Woo!"
Because they're reliving their youth.
Oh,
reliving the youth, man.
It's embarrassing. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Everything that they've released since Saints of Los Angeles have been like live records.
Okay.
The End live entertainment, the Dirt soundtrack.
They had a couple of singles in there somewhere, like that Sixx song. Remember that song? Sixx?
Yeah.
But that was crap.
But
that was garbage too.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, so their last legitimate on the radio thing was Probably Afraid.
Probably.
Wow. That's pretty sad.
Because prior to Saints of Los Angeles was New Tattoo, and that came out in 2000.
Yeah.
And that was without Tommy Lee.
Mm-hmm. Man. Yeah. That was that wasn't the money the Hell on High Heels. That was
Hell on High Heels. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a decent hit. It's not a good song and it sounds really bad, but it was a hit. I do remember hearing that on I remember us having to play it on the fucking metal show. It's like, really? Yeah. Oh well, Motley Crue falling apart.
Yep. Coming to a town near you somewhere in the European market.
Yep.
Thanks for checking out this episode of The Classic Metal Show. Get all of our episodes uncensored at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. Join us weekly from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern at www.cmsradio.net. Participate in the live chat room at www.chatandkill.com. Once again, thank you for checking out The Classic Metal Show with Neeley and Chris. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job!